And we're back. This is the Great Classic Movie Debate. I'm Kenny.
And I'm Paul.
And we talk about movies, anything, everything about movies, old movies, new movies, action, comedy, westerns. As long as it's a good movie, we like it. Well, we talk about movies we don't like too. But we try to keep it interesting. We try to have fun. If you're watching right now, please like, comment, and subscribe. We will love you for that. Don't forget to check out our sister channel, The Great Classic Rock Debate. Okay. Several weeks ago, or a month ago, or 2 months ago, whatever it was, sometime fairly recently, there was a big grand release of a movie called Oppenheimer. Okay. And it was directed by Christopher Nolan. Now, I'm pretty sure that most everybody, when they hear that name Oppenheimer, they instantly associate that with the nuclear bomb.
Right.
He was one of those guys who played a pivotal role in developing the first bomb. Okay. So I think people know that. And beyond that, maybe not that much, but they know that that's who he is. So the fact that it was directed by Christopher Nolan, who he has really established himself as, he's not a genius. He's pretty close. His movies are so intellectual and so deep and complex, in my opinion. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when I heard Christopher Nolan had directed Oppenheimer and it's a 3-hour movie, I assumed on the one hand, it's going to be a real in-depth character study of Oppenheimer, and of course the entire story that goes with it. My reluctance was 3-hour movies. There was a time when there was no such thing as a 3-hour movie, right? And nowadays, right.
The waves.
Yes. Nowadays, you can make a 3-hour movie, but it's risky because if the audience doesn't like it, it's going to crash and burn at the box office. And then again, if it's Titanic, well, then, everything turns out pretty good. So I had some reservations thinking that's a long movie about Oppenheimer. And all I mean by that is not that it can't be good, but I don't know whether most moviegoers, I don't want to sound elitist, I don't know whether most moviegoers think of an in-depth study of Robert Oppenheimer as something that they want to sit in a movie theater for 3 hours to take in. Okay. So on the one hand, I assume this is going to be a really, really good movie. Really good. On the other hand, I question how well it's going to do at the box office. I'm just not convinced that this subject matter is going to bring in the droves of moviegoers. So we saw it last weekend, my wife and I, and she made it about halfway and just said, I'm getting sleepy, and honestly, it's a little dry for me. And so it was getting late, and so I think I paused it about midway through, and we went to bed. I came back the next day and watched the remainder. She didn't. My take on it when it was all said and done is I think it's a really good movie. However, if you don't find yourself supremely and deeply interested in Robert Oppenheimer and what made him tick, in addition to his obvious intellect, whatever, it might not be enough to keep you attentive for 3 hours. So that's kind of my review. That's kind of my take on it. I thought it was a very good movie. What's that lead actor's name?
God, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he really added. He really brought out the character and the complexity of the character.
He's British, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. And so I really enjoyed it, but yeah, it's long. So all right, I'll turn the floor over to you. Tell me what you think.
Well, a bunch of things.
Okay.
You brought up something that I hadn't thought. I know it. The problem with a 3-hour movie is jamming up. Like, in other words, if you start the movie at 7, it ends at 10. No one's going to see a 3-hour movie at 10:30 or 10:15, right?
Right.
So if you see 6:30 or 7. It's a 2-hour movie that is like 9, and you can see the 9. So the theaters are already taking a risk when they have a movie that's
Yeah.
over 2 hours and 50 minutes. So that's a if it had been anybody else, I mean, literally, maybe Scorsese, because A Flower Moon's almost 4 hours. I heard that's
Oh
why I
my
didn't go see
God.
it.
Really?
That's what I heard, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. And I'm sure it's good. I just want to sit down and Oppenheimer. I saw it 3 times,
Oh,
and
wow.
because I want, I remember, you don't remember this, but I mean, you do remember this. One time, about this like 20 years ago at least, I bugged you one night. And I said, hey, there's this weird movie. Doesn't very big budget. It's got this director, Christopher Nolan. It looks kind of cool. It's got Guy Pearce in it.
Memento.
Memento. And I
Oh my
made you
God.
go. And you and I were like, wow.
Wow.
That was what,
It's
20 some odd years ago.
2001, I think.
Was
It's
it?
genius. It's 2000 or 2001. Yeah. It's a genius concept that he employs to make that movie. And not didn't spend a lot of money, but man, it's genius.
It just
Yeah.
shows you have a great script, great director, and great actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can just make that thing come alive, which he did. And so, all right, so back to Oppenheimer. First of all, I think Robert Downey Jr. needs to get an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
I was 10 minutes into the movie before I went, oh my God, that's Robert Downey. I didn't even realize it was him. He was fantastic.
He
Yeah, he was.
he needs to get the Academy Award. Just ship it, polish it up. I'll do the polishing, Robert. Send it to your house, buddy. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy, also great. I hope he gets nominated. I hope they both get nominated. The reason other movies that are 3 hours of character study, but this movie is different from any other movie because you're talking about the most devastating invention in the history of the human race.
Right.
No other person has invented a device that could destroy the whole earth,
Right.
And so it's this, and he actually took seriously. He knew the history of our military. He knew the history of our government. We did this thing to the Native Americans. We did this thing to the black people. And now we're going to give them an atomic weapon. Right. Who knows what they're going to use to, Right. And the movie makes a great, I never actually thought about this till Nolan must have thought about it. And I got to read the book. This movie's based on a book.
Okay.
Which is Oppenheimer was a genius because he was known as a father of the atomic bomb. So he made the bomb and said, here's your atomic bomb, President Truman. Goodbye.
Right.
And he left. They took those 2 bombs and dropped them. Okay. He didn't drop those bombs. He just made them.
Right.
And normally you wouldn't say that's a stupid distinction, right? And this movie makes out that's an important distinction, right?
Yeah.
And as people as you and I are Americans, and the Japanese were horrific to us in the World War II, and they bombed Pearl Harbor and they tortured and killed our people. And at that point, we realized because we just lost all these men in Germany, now we're losing all these men going island to island, and you're like, oh my God, there's 7 trillion of those stupid little islands out there, right?
Yeah. So, and in the movie, they make it clear they were not going to surrender.
Right. Oh no, they would have died to a man. Matter of fact, this I forgot the Japanese name. After the war, they took 10 years after the war.
Yeah.
Going to these little islands with Japanese people in their full regalia.
They were still
order them to surrender.
Yeah.
Because if we came on the island, they would just kill themselves. So like, no, don't kill yourself.
Right.
And matter of fact, Star Trek, I'm going way off, did a great episode about the Enterprise had to go intercept this Klingon ship, and it was in deep freeze. So the entire crew is in suspended animation, and they were going to do a sneak attack on the Empire on the Starfleet.
Okay.
So the Enterprise has got to race out there, and they're trying to figure out what to do. They don't know what to do. And the Picard's like, if we don't do anything, we're going to have to destroy them. They will not surrender. Like the Japanese, they will not surrender. Yeah, okay. So at the end of the episode, Worf, who's a Klingon, and his girlfriend's on there, she's also Klingon. They put on regalia, and they hail the Klingon ship and say, hey, we have won the war with the Starfleet, and we're ordering you to drop your shields. And the Klingons think the Klingons have won the war because they're so they outsmart them. And
so that was in one of the original episodes?
That was in that was the Next Generation.
Oh, okay. Because I never saw that one. All right.
So same thing. So we had to end the war. And remember people like Jon Stewart, guys that idiot.
Yeah.
Like he goes, well, why don't you just drop a bomb out in the ocean
Out in
and
the
show up?
ocean.
We
Yeah.
did. We destroyed Hiroshima, and they still didn't surrender.
They just still didn't. Right. Right. Right.
And it's they're part of their culture. It's not that they're stupid. They're just and you can't explain that to explain that to the power, the technology by this atomic weapon.
Right.
We were lucky. The Germans, the Star Trek Edith Keeler. I don't know how long they were away from an actual atomic weapon, but they had the V2 rockets. They could have launched those jokers and
Right.
wiped out the Earth. Right? They could have done that. Right? So we were lucky. There was like a 5 or 10 year window. But and then Oppenheimer, like the other thing, when I watched that movie, I thought, and I wish I knew him. He needs to do a sequel to the movie. Okay, it's going to be called The Rosenbergs.
Okay.
That's what he needs to do. He needs to stop whatever stupid project he's on. Not stupid, and that's the movie he needs to do next.
Okay.
Because you know all about them, right? They stole the atomic secrets, and then they were put to death and killed by our government. And that whole thing was like such a crazy, crazy, crazy time in history, and it's exactly what Oppenheimer predicted. If we build a bigger bomb, they're gonna build. He's like,
right. Right.
The problem with that is that this other movie about the atomic was the Peacemaker.
Yeah, we saw that.
Nicole Kidman and George Clooney.
George Clooney. Yeah.
It was an okay
Yeah, we
movie.
saw that. It was okay. Yeah.
And it was a great line because I'm not afraid of someone who wants 100 nuclear weapons. I'm afraid of someone who wants one.
Right.
And that's what Oppenheimer's. All it takes is one of these things to go off, and
right.
It's Katie bar the door. Right, the war's going to end.
Right.
Because we've seen hundreds of movies about. What was it? Fail Safe. Do you remember that movie?
I don't remember who's in it.
It's like in the '60s. We shoot a nuclear missile by accident, and it hits Moscow or some Russian city, big one.
Oh, okay.
And our president says, "Okay, you could hit one of our cities, and we're not going to do anything about it."
Oh no, I've never seen that.
And they let the Russians bomb us because it's the only way to be fair.
Oh wow.
And the Russians, you did this on purpose? Like, no, it's an accident. Matter of fact, you could bomb one of our cities. I can't remember if they bomb Washington or New York City, but that's what they do.
Okay. And we watched The Sum of All Fears just a few days ago. That's a pretty good movie.
Well, you know what? That was a PC movie, right?
I didn't know that.
Because in the movie, the villains are all Muslims. In the Robert Clancy book, and they changed it to be Nazis, so they want to offend the Muslims.
Oh, I should have known. Wow. Okay.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah.
I didn't know that. I should have known though.
That's why I never saw it. I would refuse to see it because of that.
Okay.
Because as soon as like the clip on the preview on the trailer, and he had the lighter with the Nazi insignia, I'm like, stop.
Oh.
I had read parts of that book. I think I've read most of it. And I'm like, no, they're Muslims. Sorry.
Right.
Not offending Muslims here. I'm just saying that's what the book says.
It's yeah. There's no reason to change it.
I saw this other movie that I made you watch called By the Dawn's Early Light.
Yeah. With Powers Booth.
Movies. HBO made this great. There was like a 5 years period where HBO made the best movies ever.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And this movie was about the Russian separatists inside of Russia launch a missile, and it goes towards China or somebody, and then we retaliate by accident because we think it's coming towards us, and it turns out that the president's still alive. Everybody thinks he's dead, and the Russian president are talking on like a shortwave radio, if you can believe it. And there's this guy, the Secretary of Interior, who's mad, and he thinks he wants to destroy the Russians. So he's telling launch everything we have on the Russians, and the only way to stop him is to crash into their plane. So the final scene of the movie is Looking Glass, and then the president, Air Force One crashes, or no, Looking Glass, which is a Strategic Air Command jet bomber or a bomber, crashes in to the Looking Glass or the Air Force One and kills the president. So they all die.
Right.
So the final scene of the movie, the pilots, they can see each other. They're about to crash, and they're saluting each other right as they die.
Oh,
and that's what they had to do to stop the war.
Wow.
The end of it. It is unbelievable. And anyway, so that's Oppenheimer saw all that. He foresaw it.
Right.
And in the movie, though, like the other thing that bothered him was he was Jewish.
Right.
I remember that heavyset actor. That guy's really good. I forgot his name. Heavyset Jewish guy.
Yeah,
He goes, "You know why we're going to win? Why? Because Hitler's anti-Semitic,
right.
and all the Jews are going to be on our side."
That guy has been in a number of other
Yes,
movies,
I don't
but
know
he's
his name.
thinner. He was in Serenity, if you remember that.
No, I have to go. Oh my gosh, I have
He
to go
was
back.
the guy who was the communication. He could send out messages to the entire universe,
Oh, I'm
and
gonna go back and
they
watch that
kill
one.
him in Serenity, but
That guy,
he had a
really
nickname,
good.
the Info Man or something or other.
He
If
was
you needed to
really
get
good.
if you needed to get a piece of information out, you gave it to him, and he sent it. Everybody would get it.
I can barely remember Serenity. You and I
Yeah.
saw it, but I
Oh
barely
my
remember.
God, I love that movie. So listen, while we're on the topic of Oppenheimer, I want to mention two movies from way back when that I know that you saw, and the purpose here is not to compare,
Oh, I know what you're
but
going.
one of them was Day One. The star was Brian Dennehy. It was actually a made-for-TV movie. I think it was a two-part, kind of like a miniseries type of thing. And the other one was called Fat Man and Little Boy, which Paul Newman was in. And they came out like less than a year from each other, and they were both really good. Having seen the first one, which was the one with Brian Dennehy, Day One, I didn't feel like the next one added that much. Like I had already seen this one, so this one. But if you see either one or both of those before you see Oppenheimer, it's a good lead in because it gives you a lot of background information so you're not walking blindly into Oppenheimer. And then you can appreciate the fact that Oppenheimer is such a character study of the man as opposed to just the story of the bomb itself. So
Yeah, Fat Man and Little Boy is really, really good.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, the now what was the other movie? You said Day One. Was that the one that
It's
was on
called Day One.
TV?
Yes, it was.
Is that what there was an atomic attack and it was the next day, or that's called the day after? Maybe I'm getting confused.
That's the wrong movie. This is basically the same story as Fat Man and Little Boy. It was odd that the two movies came out so close together. Again, one TV and one was the movie theaters, but they came out so
I never
close
saw it.
together. They were so similar. But Brian Dennehy played Leslie Groves,
Okay,
and you know who Matt Dillon played? Not Matt Dillon. Matt, what's his name?
Damon.
Matt
Matt
Damon
Damon.
in Oppenheimer, and I have to say that the first scene in which I saw him, I instantly thought, "Wow, he looks just like Brian Dennehy did in 1989." So that must be what that guy really looks like because
And he
they
was
made
a
the
kind of a weird look. He was a bigger man too, I think.
yeah.
Like I've seen pictures of him, but yeah, like and Matt Damon was actually pretty good. He
No,
remember
he was. No, he
when the guy
was.
walked out, he goes, "What do you always thought? You want me? I'll just have him killed." And the guy goes, "What?" He goes, "I was just kidding."
Right, right.
But
No, he was
he
good. He's not my favorite guy or anything, but when he's a good actor, and he was really good in this, so can't deny it.
and then the girl, God, that was some good nudity and
Yeah. Yeah, Oppenheimer was quite the ladies' man. I mean, he wasn't just some boring scientist who stayed in a lab. He had his love interests,
he was
which
exploring all types of science. Yeah.
there you go. There you go. So
Uh,
anyway,
but
uh
like there's a picture somewhere in the South Pacific, like a Bikini Island or atoll, where they've detonated one of those bombs, and they said every guy in this photo got sick of got radiation poisoning.
yeah, I believe
Every
that.
single one of them. Like
Yeah.
it's still like like the think about what this did. Like it spawned Godzilla,
Right. Right.
right? It spawned this movie, The Hills Have Eyes.
Right.
Did you see that first one?
It was a classic. Oh my God.
Yeah. I
And
remember they were all
and
deformed because of the radiation.
yeah. And all of those Japanese TV series, Ultraman and Spectre Man and all those, they're all basically the same show. Um, the villain in every one of them is a gigantic monster, creature, whatever, that was a mutated form of something or other because of the radiation. So yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, but I definitely need to do one of the Rosenbergs because you'd have Roy Cohn. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Yeah.
he's a super strange dude.
Yeah.
Helped during the McCarthy. He was the prosecutor. He was gay, Jewish gay man.
Right.
Matter of fact,
Right. James Woods played him
Woods
in a
played
movie.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Matter of fact, I need to download that or find it and buy it and watch it. I'm gonna change the subject. I just got this today. Can you see that?
Hidden Fortress.
Yes.
Why does that sound familiar?
This is Akira Kurosawa, the greatest Japanese, some people say the greatest director of all time,
Okay.
period.
Okay.
That is the basis of Star Wars.
Oh,
So George
okay.
Lucas saw this movie, knew all about it, and modeled Star Wars, the plot, off of this.
Okay. All right.
So I got a Criterion Collection. I've seen it. It's not the some of the movies are dry, like you said. Your wife, like I would have cut somehow, I don't know how, 20 minutes out of Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how it could have been done. I just don't know. Uh, the bomb ignition, that was the best part. Like, don't look at the flash. I think it was
Right.
8 miles away, whatever
Right.
it was. And then people don't realize the blast comes a little bit later, and it just
It
all went.
was. Oh my God. That scene is unforgettable. Yeah. It
And
really
imagine,
is.
like, if you see the photos of Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Oh
where
yeah.
like the woman, the blast hit her and it ignited her carbon like into the sidewalk. So just a shadow of her into the sidewalk that blasted her whole body into that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
melted iron, all that stuff for miles. And the
Yeah.
Japanese still didn't give up. It was amazing.
Yeah. That is amazing.
Yeah, they're like, but then again, there was no internet back then. It was like our thing about urban legends. The Americans dropped this bomb and wiped up the city. Oh yeah, right, okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not
Go
buying
take a
that.
look. And then well, I guess Nagasaki, it's in a valley on a river. Okay, so when that bomb went off, supposedly the blast followed up the mountain chain, up the river, and it
Oh,
just whoa. The one on, because I think they dropped it at like what 10,000 feet or ignited at 10,000 or
something like that. Yeah.
so. Yeah, it was brutal. Like just, but that saved millions of Japanese lives and American lives.
Right. Right.
And then the other thing, remember the movie Edward Teller? Like that movie, there's some really, really, really smart people in that movie. Okay, Edward Teller. The other movie, like at some point after that, like within, I don't know what happened. You can look this up. Teller, or no, Enrico Fermi. Remember, he's up in Chicago and he goes to Detroit, and they had a reactor meltdown. It almost blew up in the mid '60s, early '60s.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we were playing with some serious stuff here, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, we could just go into Chernobyl, like the movie. Have we talked about that yet? The Chernobyl thing.
Just in passing.
Did you see it?
I did not.
Oh my god, you got like start tonight. Watch or not tonight, but it's only 6 episodes.
Okay.
It is just mind blowing how
Okay.
stupid the Russians are, and the sad part is we're just as stupid.
Right.
We're not any less stupid than the Russians.
Right. Right.
So it talks about all these things that Oppenheimer knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
No one want to listen to him because once the genie's out of the box, you can't get it back in, right?
Yep. No.
And who else was in that? That was the girl. She's Irish, I think. She played the woman, the love interest. Very pretty
In
woman.
Oppenheimer,
Yeah,
I don't know her name. There was a number of actors in there that I did not recognize, even though there was quite a few that I did.
yeah. She was on this show where I watched it on Netflix. She's very talented, but in this
Okay.
movie, she looks dip, man.
Okay. Is that Emily Blunt? Is that who that is?
No, she's his wife.
Okay, that's Kitty Oppenheimer. I'm looking at the
She just got
cast here.
a
All right. Well,
the
I
woman who
don't.
kills herself, or supposedly they killed her, or she killed herself.
Okay, yeah, there she's not listed. I mean, not right here on this front page. So, and I don't feel like digging deeper into it
And
right now.
yeah, she's got a nice physique. She's
Yeah. Oh
a very
yeah.
pretty woman. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, because I don't think Christopher Nolan ever done sex scenes before in any of his movies.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, he. So, what's your favorite Nolan movie then?
That's a tough question. I'd have to probably sit down and look at a list.
Same here.
Yeah, but I'll say this much. Memento, for me, once I saw that, I never had to be convinced after that to see another Christopher Nolan movie because that's
You're
how
right.
good it was. Yeah, and yeah, we saw that. You described him. I don't remember your words, but he's a new director who kind of pieced this thing together with very low budget or whatever, but it's supposed to be really good. And after seeing it, I fully understood like how he was able to do this without a lot of money, but because his idea was so genius. And I'm like, wow, it's impossible to watch that movie and not be impacted. It's his technique and his style, everything about it is so unique and so different. It's like an unforgettable experience. So I knew right then. And then all of the Batman movies that he directed were really, really good. Even though they don't involve his concept of time. He involves his movies always have some sort of a theme of time. And
Yes.
the Batman movies don't, but they were really good, I thought.
Like I think me and 8 other people, all the people like that movie Tenet. I really like that movie. Did you see it?
I saw it, but for me, I would have to see it a second and perhaps even a third time to fully get it because it gave me a headache.
Yeah,
I only saw it once.
When I started to figure out what I thought was happening, I was like, oh wow, okay. It's a very, believe it or not, it's a very similar time structure as Memento. I
Okay.
just now thought of that.
Okay.
But like what other movie he did? I loved Dunkirk.
Oh, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what other movies did he do? The Batman's. What did he do before uh after Memento, but before Batman?
Well, you know what? Let me pull him up here really quick and I'll just scroll through.
Trying to think.
So, okay. So Memento, Batman Begins, The Prestige.
Oh
That was
yes.
excellent.
Yes.
Oh my God. Inception.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Excellent. Yeah.
And
Don't
then
forget
the movie Interstellar.
Interstellar.
I love that movie. I think
Yeah. That's quite a list of, wow. That's a real all-star list of movies that he's directed there.
Inception. Wow, man,
Yeah. That's
that's
another one that always involves the whole concept of time and layers of time. And oh man, it's layers of reality.
what's funny because Inception, Tom Hardy was like a supporting actor in that movie, and it was after that when he became more big time. And I think he did that movie Warrior that you like,
Yeah. I
and then
didn't realize he was in Inception.
yeah, he's in it. He's like the
Oh,
Russian guy, like the Russian warrior guy. Like they played Bane and of
right.
course.
Yeah.
Yes, Batman, I'm going to defeat you today.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but oh man, but you're right. See, but what you said earlier is absolutely apropos. When you trust a director, you know he's not going to go down these rabbit holes.
Yeah.
I'll give him 3 hours once.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to give an opposing illustration of that, or maybe not opposing is the right word, but one where he's turned out to not be the same degree of reliability is Shalaman, because the first movie, The Sixth Sense, followed by Unbreakable, those were so good, but then he had a couple of really serious misses, swing and a miss.
Like what? Like the only movie I didn't like his was The Lady in the Water.
I didn't see that one, but everybody said it wasn't good.
No, but the Village was incredible. Like
I had mixed
I
feelings about The Village.
I love this movie. I can watch it over and over and over. It's brilliant. And Signs is one of my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, I I wanted to like it, but there was too many things that kept me from really loving it. So I like it, but I just have to
Maybe
accept.
when's the last time you saw Signs?
Oh man, it's been a long time. I mean,
You should go back.
I saw it. You and I saw it in the movie theater 20 years ago or whatever, but more than that. But I've seen it once or twice since and on TV, which of course is not the same. But yeah, I didn't hate it. There was things about it that I liked, and I.
Well, with our faith, you go back. I told this movie about this movie to my preacher.
Oh really?
The whole point of Signs is God's talking to you. You ain't listening.
Agreed.
And he thinks his wife is just gibberish. Nope. God's talking to you. You're too stupid to understand.
Right.
Right. And
No,
that's why I think
I really loved that element of the movie. And there's a lot of things about that movie to like. What I didn't like about it was they just like with War of the Worlds, where I told you they asked me to just overlook things like this advanced alien race came here thousands of years ago and implanted muskets into the ground, assuming that in a few thousand years it'll be inhabited. It seemed absurd. In Signs, the aliens or whatever they are, they sent their scouts in advance to make the crop circle, and it's like, okay, we later learn in the movie that H2O, water, is like battery acid to them. It turns them into the wicked witch of the West. It melts them. So I'm just wondering, like, why didn't those scouts report back, hey, 3/4 of the surface of this planet is that liquid stuff that we don't like. And they have sprinkler systems and rain and dew on the grass and all that. This is not the planet for us. So that was like one of my big beefs with the movie. If water disintegrates them, our planet, they should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque and not come here. It didn't make any sense for me, you know.
Well, because they do say, the Shyamalan himself says that, he goes, I noticed where they landed is nowhere near water, like giant holes of water, and maybe they're willing to take. So I don't know. It's fascinating that they come here to capture us for slave labor, you know, and if you don't come, they're going to face the awesome power of our muskets, right? Like, you know,
right. Also, I expect them to have more advanced weaponry instead of the tube coming out of their wrists that shoots the poison gas. Because if that's their weapon, they have to ask you to hold still before they can gas.
Yeah, but they're really strong. I get that, but and he talks about that. He goes, if they use weapons, we would use ours, like nukes and stuff, right?
Right.
And you know, just like in, you know, Independence Day, any race that could get here, I'm sure their craft is completely impervious to nuclear weapons.
Right.
But then again, if we use nukes, we die. Like we and then their raid is in vain, right? And we're all dead of radiation. But no, I liked it. You know, like me and Steve got this huge argument about any movie that didn't happen in real life is contrived. Any movie that didn't happen in real life, right?
Okay.
You name any movie, and I could pick it up, any movie, right? Unless it happened in real life. You know, like
I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's probably most movies that happened in real life are contrived also.
Well, yeah, but that's also true. But they did happen. You know, like
it happened, right.
You know, like our hockey team had never beaten the Russians, and the guy is kind of a crazy coach. Crazy coach gets rid of all the good players and gives these different type of team because he wants to play the Russian style, and we beat them.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I have to tell you.
I know,
Miracle,
but that's
Kurt
why
Russell.
It seems like it's contrived, you know.
Right.
And the Russians have a version where they beat our basketball team, and it's also called Miracle.
Right.
In Russia. I'm kidding, you know.
Right. Now they beat us, you know. So, well, listen. Hey, it's been several minutes, and we got the message. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. You got any final thoughts or comments? We're going to next episode. We'll circle back to movies that we viscerally hate, part 2. But tonight we went ahead and chatted about Oppenheimer and some tangential stuff. So that was fine. Any final thoughts for tonight?
No, I'm just gonna go watch Hidden Fortress. Any Kurosawa movie is worth watching.
Okay.
You should watch that one and Rashomon.
Okay. All right. You and I watched that a long time ago. You had it on DVD.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God.
Yeah, but I haven't seen Hidden Fortress. So I'll look for that one.
I mean, I've seen it, but it was 25 years ago.
Okay. All right. Well, then for tonight, then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So this is the Great Classic Movie Debate. I am Kenny.
I am Paul.
If you're watching right now, please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out our sister channel, The Great Classic Rock Debate. Thank you for watching. Until we meet again, we'll see you next time.